Hi, Donna and Shannon and Susan and Stevie and Lauren. How are you all doing? I have a video in the background that I'm uploading, and I'm hoping it's not going to mess us up. So let's see. And if it does, of course, I will stop it. So how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. If you want to share with me, since you can all have access to text, how you're feeling, how you're doing. Okay, I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to cancel it because I don't want to mess us up. So if you want to let me know if you have any questions, big questions, go ahead and send it to me. I would like to say that what I noticed for myself, and I don't know why, but I go through phases as well. I guess the more I study, the more I learn, the more I say, okay, we have to focus on this. Okay, we have to focus on this. Okay, we have to focus on this. And I've really been focusing, I think, on strength in our legs. And so my quadriceps are sore quite often. Like right now, my quads are so sore. So I'm wondering if any of you have been experiencing that after our classes. All right, let me get out of the things I was in. All right. Okay, and I know some of you are with me a couple days a week, so I want to share something. I'm always telling you about this doctor that it's so funny. I'm on Twitter. I've never met him, and I never was on Twitter, even during the whole year when Twitter was like the thing, right? And all those tweets and all that stuff, because I don't watch news or pay attention to all that stuff, honestly. But I've gone on Twitter. So there's this physician, orthopedic surgeon that I don't want to say follow, but I guess follow, because it's amazing to me, the information he puts out there. So this morning he posted that red blood cells, the shape of the red blood cells allows for them to be flexible. So even when they're going through tight spaces in our body, through the capillary beds and all the places need to go, they actually bend. So I, love what he says. And then I replied. And so I said, did you know that there was a study last year that came out that showed that blood vessels actually stretch when we stretch our muscles in our legs? So I think that they looked at leg stretching, like hamstring, and we do that in the osteoporosis work because we are not supposed to forward fold when we bend, right? We're not supposed to forward fold. That's like a no-no. Let me get up and show you that stuff because that's really important. I think that not only do I want to help you be strong and let me see if we can be able to see me. Yeah. Not only do I want you to be strong and to strengthen your bones and muscles, I also want to teach you how to move so you don't create fractures from movements. So they always say forward folding is a no-no, but actually you fold all day long. You put your clothes on, your socks on, you have to bend down to pick up things, you garden, you cook, you're on the computer, you're on your phone, right? So you're constantly bending. So we need to learn to bend properly. But anyway, so proper bending is here at the hip. Well, in order to bend yourself like this, you need the muscles here to let that happen because they attach to your pelvis. And if they don't bend, then what happens is you start bending your spine to bend, okay? So this doctor that I tweet with on Twitter, so don't think that I'm so not really into social media, but I understand it has its place. So he shared the information about red blood cells being bending, and I shared with him this article on blood vessels. And when you're stretching the hamstring, that's what they were testing. So the blood vessels stretch, the blood cells are stretching. And so I replied, wow, here we go, even more amazing aspects of the practice of yoga, the physical practice of yoga, because yoga is going to stretch your blood vessels and help those red blood cells get to where they need to get to. And yoga is for the physical body, right? The musculoskeletal system. It's for the physiological biochemical body, which is the part of you that keeps your minerals in the bones where they belong. And all the other parts, like being able to digest the food so you have the building blocks for bone tissue. And then it's the mental emotional, it's the management of stress and making sure that we're in a building bone place and not a breaking down bone place, which can happen with psychological stress. So that was my little thing to share with you right now. And so when I replied to him, yay, or for yoga, it's so beneficial. And then he responded, yay for the flexibility team. And he said, I know a lot of people don't recommend stretching, but I do. He's an orthopedic surgeon. Like, wow, we could all be so lucky to have a physician like him. All right, without further ado, stretching will be a part of the practice today because we pull on the bones, which gives a stimulation to build more bone tissue. And we push on the bones, right? But let's think about pulling on our bones today. So if you're going to pull on them more than usual, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I need to get stronger for her. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to let our bones freak out. I need to get stronger today. So get prepared. And in order to be prepared, first of all, don't get freaked out by anything I said, because you're going to do whatever you can do. Nothing is going to be too challenging. It's going to be just right, like Goldilocks. You're going to choose what's appropriate for you. We're not pulling too hard to cause any harm, because you're going to be inside your body and be tuned in to what's appropriate and what's not. All right. So that's real key here, is body awareness, so you know what you should and shouldn't be doing. Please get a strap, get a blanket, and get a block. And then a place to practice. A mat could be a good thing to practice with. And we will do our thing. So I just want to see, because I know that there were some comments. I just want to see. Hi, Cindy. Okay, well, when you leave, I'll know that you had to go. And hi, Kathy. Glad that you're here. And Carolyn, good morning. All right, ladies, so happy to have you here with me. I know that I need to do my own survey, it seems, because I really know that many of you have been receiving tremendous benefit from practicing yoga. Some of you are actually getting better DEXA scan score readings. Many of you are feeling more confident with your balance and your flexibility and your strength. And most of you are happy, because you wouldn't still be with me after all these years if you weren't, right? All right, so we're in this together, healthy aging forever. That's what we're doing. Maybe we could, if we could fast forward, be like, wow, I've been with Debbie for 20 years. Because I plan to keep going as long as I can, because I need to keep me strong. And so I'm doing it, and I'm going to be doing this with you. Okay, so let's see. How do I want us to begin today? I want us to begin by correcting our posture with gravity and with the ground. I want us to try to use as little or no blanket if possible. And for some of you, no blanket is not possible. For some of you, it is. So you're going to see whether that's for you or not. I'd like to have a block, so we're going to begin our practice with our block on our belly so that we feel the movement. We do that deep diaphragmatic breathing, which helps to regulate many body systems inside. One of them being that allowing the body to be in a place of repair. So any repairing that needs to be done in your bone tissue will be done. So because osteoporosis, this is a class for osteoporosis, I'm going to teach you to come down nice and slow to the side as you come all the way down. I love when I'm working with someone, especially privately, and we're on Zoom, and they'll move like that and they'll say, see, I'm listening. But yeah, you need to move like that. That's what we need to do. Okay, so let's explore taking the blanket away from the head. Keep your knees bent at first. Explore taking the blanket away. Now, when you do this, some of you, your body there'll be too much tension up on the top. And that's an indication for you of tightness you have in your spine, your upper spine. And so that's something you should work on softening and loosening. And I will say that in one of my trainings with Dr. Fishman, he said he had a woman in her 80s with severe kyphosis, big hump, like Dowager's hump, humpback of Notre Dame, that real severe hump. And I believe it was a 6-week or 2-month process, he said, where he got her more upright, which is just crazy. So some of that tightness there is still mobile and movable. You have the minerals that have laid down like a tightness there, but you can still move through some of them. So if you do take the blanket away, make sure it's not really, really uncomfortable. I'm okay with a little bit of pulling and tension, but you don't want to go crazy, right? Because I want you to stay here for a little while. And then if you need something, try the least. So start maybe with 1 fold, maybe 2 folds, but I want you to have as little as possible. And then I want you to notice that with everything you do, because many of us, we're trying to make ourselves super comfortable and we keep supporting that roundness in our body without realizing that's what we're doing, okay? Then the next thing is the knees are bent, the feet are on the floor. Take your arms at the sides and lift your body up so that your upper back is off the floor, and then slide the shoulder blades closer to the spine. And that's going to lay the shoulder blades on the back of the body to help with some postural correction. And then you're going to take your block, bring your block onto your low belly. So the lower ribs, right where the lower ribs, you can either put it where the low ribs are or even lower. And then you're going to have your elbows down alongside your body. And I'm doing this so that you'll see like where they are. And you can even do that yourself for that feeling of groundedness. Lengthen the back neck, tuck your chin towards your chest. Then you're going to slowly begin to open your arms to the side. And you're going to notice tension maybe coming back to center. Close your eyes. Maybe your fingernails touch the floor and maybe they don't. And then I'd like you to notice, do both arms move fluidly? So the elbows are relatively close to the waist or to the body. And see if you could feel anything happening in the back of the body where the shoulder blades are. Some of the muscles that actually roll the upper arm bone around are underneath the shoulder blades. And that's why you're experiencing this movement up underneath your shoulders that you're resting on right now. And then go ahead and take your arms a little bit wider. So the elbows are farther away from the body. And do that same movement here. Notice if you still feel it in the shoulder blades, or do you actually now feel it in the front part of the shoulder? A different part of, or a different set of muscles. And then come back. Let the arms go even farther away from the body. Elbows on the floor, upper arm bones are resting in the floor. And see if you could take your arms up and back towards the floor. Try to get the fingernails, the backs of the hands to touch. And then completely let your arms rest. Tuck your chin towards your chest, lengthen the back of your neck. Let your knees fall in towards each other. I'd like you to not have straight legs because I want your low back to be more neutral and to not be pulling and to not feel that it has to take this correction at the spine, right? Because everything translates down the spine. I want the spinal correction work to be in your thoracic spine behind your heart or above. So raise your arms a little higher if you can, and not all will be able to, and keep your hands away from your head. So don't have them bring the hands too close to the head. Keep them away from the head. Close your eyes and explore where you could go to feel a stretch, probably where the arms are attaching to the body, either underneath the armpits, in front of the shoulders, or deeper in the chest, closer to the center of the body. So we're stretching the pectoral muscles, deltoids, and allow yourself to just notice this happening. Letting the ground and gravity be a part of what helps to realign your spine and to correct your posture. And then press your heart up towards the sky. Press your shoulder blades into the ground. Press the upper arm bone into the ground. Press the elbows into the ground. Press the backs of the hands into the ground. Feel that activation of all of the muscles of the upper chest area. And then go ahead and relax. Soften. So the block is on your belly. And use that for reference. Keep your eyes closed. Let the heaviness of the arms go, the heaviness of the torso. Press your head into the floor, the center of your head, and then soften and release that. Feel the weight of the head, the weight of the shoulder blades, and the weight of the sacrum in the ground. Bring your awareness to your block that's on either your lower ribs or your belly. And breathe to the chest, which is above the block. Try to not do anything with the block. Don't let the block move. So breathe into your heart. And feel your whole rib cage expand with breath. Take 5 breaths here. And then bring your awareness to the block. Start to bring the breath down lower, to the lower ribs or to the belly. So your block rises and falls with breath. And then take 5 breaths here, letting the block move, rising and falling with your breath. Five breaths to your belly, feeling the block move. Try to move it as much as you can, so let your belly rise as high as it will. Finishing your last breath. Let go of the breath. Bring your awareness to your head as you inhale. And then exhale, let your head roll towards one side as far as it'll go so you feel a stretch. Inhale back up to center and roll your head to the other side as far as it'll go to feel a stretch. Inhale back to center. Move with breath. Exhale into the stretch. Inhale back to center. Exhale into the stretch. So you let the weight of your head go as far as it'll go. You feel the back of the head rolling from side to side, making the shape of an arch or a rainbow. So you're not picking your head up off the ground or off the blanket, whatever you have it on. You're rolling it, letting your neck muscles roll side to side. Take one more each direction. Stretching the tissues of the upper back and neck, and even tissue that's in your head, inside your skull. Because ears and eyes are a big part of balance. Bring yourself back to center. Bring your awareness to your fingers. Start to move your fingers. Bring your block off to the side. Stretch your legs and your body if that's appropriate for you, or keep your knees bent and move your arms wherever you can. I want you to stretch. Even maybe imagining that you're waking up in the morning, you're reaching one arm away like you're yawning and reaching. Let the body find where it is it wants to go. Stretching stretches tissue. So it stretches fascia, which is wrapping your muscles. It stretches muscles and it stretches blood vessels. And it also stretches the tissue that the nerves travel through. And part of the nervous system is proprioceptive nervous system of balance, to keep your body in good receptivity for balance, which is good for bone health. Let's go ahead and bend your knees. Draw the knees into the chest. If you do not have a blanket behind your head, notice, is this extra pressure intense for you? Lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin towards the chest, move your knees back and forth, side to side. Become very familiar with where you are today in your body. Every day, because every day is different. And the more familiar you are, then the more you can move towards stronger body, stronger bones, stronger balance, and a stronger brain. Come onto your side. Cradle your hands in your head. Let's take your hand, spread it. Push your hand and bring yourself up to a seated position. Let's get ourselves ready for some movement. All right, so that's beginning posture is to correct your posture or raise awareness to where it is. Let's bring ourselves onto all fours, onto your hands. Do what you need to do so that you can be in this position. You may need to roll up your mat. You may need to put your arms forward, whatever you need to do. Bring yourself here. Start to move your body back and forth and side to side. Keep your head up, move yourself in your joints, and then bring your arms directly underneath your shoulders. I'm going to teach it this way in a proper aligned position, and then you modify wherever you need to. Knees are underneath the hips, which means they're only about 4 inches apart. Fingers are spread. Press the left hand into the floor, slide the right hand away, slide the left leg away. Inhale to rise. Keep your head up. Don't round your neck. Nice long neck. Exhale to touch down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale to rise. Lift your arm as high as you can, lift your leg as high as you can, and then one more, stay here. Lift your arm, lift your leg. If you want to challenge your balance, take your right foot off the floor, if it feels appropriate for you. Woo! Ah! You can even add some challenge, moving back and forth, side to side. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Right hand directly underneath the shoulder. Slide the right leg away. Slide the left hand away. Exhale. And then inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale to lift. Stay here. Reach your hand long, reach your leg long. Keep your back neck nice and long. Don't round your upper spine. Look forward towards the front edge of the mat in front of your fingers. And if you'd like to challenge yourself, take your left foot off the floor. And if you want to add a little challenge, you can add some sway in so that your muscles have to catch you in a moving position and restabilize. And then go ahead, exhale to come down. Bring yourself all the way up, shake your hands. So that was a little correcting posture, that last movement. If you could flip your toes under and sit on top of your heels. If you can't, don't worry. So accept where you are, work towards better if you'd like, and maybe some of these are never going to be an option for you, and that's okay. We're going to release whatever it is we can't do anymore, and the things we're still able to do, we're going to try to get there. Okay, so we worked on correcting the posture, raising awareness to it, and then that spinal balance that we just did there is a great way to strengthen the muscles of posture and alignment in the back of the body. All right, let's take your blanket to the top of your mat. We're going to need our strap. We're going to stretch our legs, stretch our muscles, stretch our blood vessels, and stretch our cells. All right, let's come onto our side. Reach the hand away to bring yourself down. Come all the way down onto the ground. Have the least amount of blanket that you need behind your head. And then let's draw one leg in, hold on behind the hamstring, and you're going to unbend and bend that leg. So warming up that muscle back here, warming up the knee joint, unbend and bend. Take your foot up towards the sky, point the foot strongly, and then flex. Point and flex. Go pretty strong here so you warm up your calf. You stretch you feel the foot, the ankle, and the lower leg stretch. Come to center. Slow circles, please. Everyone goes so fast here, and they miss all the nooks and crannies of being able to stretch things in the ankle joint, which is for fall prevention, which is for fracture prevention. Go the opposite direction. You want your ankle to be very limber and be able to respond when you need it to. So make sure it's all awake. And then let's go ahead, bend. Let's bring the other leg in. Inhale to unbend, exhale to bend. Maybe this is a good way you start your day off in bed. You wake up, you bring in one knee at a time, and you warm up your hamstring, you warm up your feet, especially if you have issues with balance. You want the whole lower body to be very responsive and receptive for your balance. Let's bring yourself all the way up, pointing strongly and flex. So for me, when I point strong, I feel a beautiful stretch on the top of my foot. When I do a very deep calf stretch here, it's intense. I feel a lot of tension in the back of my leg when I'm stretching that part by doing that strong. So you may be experiencing that too, and you're like, wow, this is strong. Yeah. Even if you are a limber person, it's strong because you're going into your range of motion. And when you go to your end range of motion, you're going to feel a stretch. And then very slow circles. Not wanting to miss anything in that ankle joint so you can have great balance, because that's important if you have osteoporosis. And then go ahead and bring the legs down. Take your strap. We'll go into our stretching postures. Bring your right leg in, and then make sure you come really close to your foot. And as a matter of fact, with the right hand, touch all of your toes or touch your foot so that you will always have that ability to do so. Bring your hands down. Wrap your hands around your strap. Really pull that leg down into the socket. And if you'd like to straighten the left leg, if that feels okay for you, try that. Press the left leg into the floor, pull down on the strap, firm up the right leg, inhale. And as you exhale, draw that leg back towards the wall and firm up the muscles of the leg. So push the top of the right thigh away from you with your muscles. Keep a nice long waist on the right side and pull the leg strongly towards the wall behind you. Knee is straight. Do not bend your knee. We want to pull on the pelvis here and create stimulation in the edge of the pelvis so you could bend safely. So whether you're bending intentionally or you're bending because you're slipping and you need to catch yourself. Pull the strap back, pull the leg back, firm up the leg and push the leg away from you with the muscles, opposing force. One more breath. And then go ahead and release. Let's come into our adductor inner thigh stretch. Take your hand on the strap, slide your hand down. Inner thigh is on the inner knee joint and the inner leg. This is what we're going to stretch. So you want your leg to stay nice and long and then slide your hand down the strap. When you lengthen out to the right, you don't let your leg go forward. So for some of you, you don't have enough flexibility to go really low. And what happens is you start to go forward to go lower to the floor. That's not what we want. The leg starts right above your hip joint and then you lengthen out to the side. If you're not able to go too far and your leg is too heavy, you feel like you're flying off the floor, you could take a block and support the weight of your upper leg bone with the block. Pushing the leg towards the wall behind you, push the opposite leg into the ground. Don't let the opposite tushy come off the floor. Sometimes you can take your hand, put it on that hip bone, and then firm up the deep core muscles to help stabilize the left side body while you stretch the right side. Leg is towards the wall behind you. Press into the arch part of the strap. Deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then bend or bring the straight leg back up to center. Take the strap off. Let's prepare for the other side. Draw the knee into your body. Put the strap on the left arch. Touch all toes with your hands so that you know you can. Slide your hands down. Wrap your hands around. So pull down so you already feel some tension. You're pushing that leg towards the floor. Straighten the right leg if that feels okay for you to do so. Pull the strap down, firm up the leg, and then draw the leg towards the wall behind you, pushing away from your body. So your leg is pushing away from you towards the foot part of your mat, and you're pulling it, kind of like a tug of peace. I don't like to use certain negative words, and I know that it's called something else, but tug of peace. Push your leg away from you and pull it towards the wall behind you. Keep your left waist nice and long. Don't let it get short. Deep breaths. One more breath. And then go ahead and release the tension. Take the strap in your hand, slide your hand down. Keep the leg nice and long. Other arm could go out to the side if you'd like, and then lengthen, lengthen, lengthen to the side. Make sure you're not going forward to try to get lower to the ground. Lower to the ground is not better. Better is stretching the adductor and pulling on the pelvis. So if you move away from your body, you're not doing what we would like to do at this inner thigh, pelvic bone area. Press into the arch part of the strap. Keep the right side down. You can put your hand on that hip bone if you'd like. Really activate your core to press your body towards the ground, stabilizing your pelvis. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, bend or bring yourself back up straight. Draw your knees into your chest. So we're going to come into our bridge pose because we're here on the ground. It's a nice one to come into. So we're going to be stretching the front of the body, stretching the hip flexor area, really important. Stretching this part of our body. When we bring ourselves up, we're also strengthening the muscles of the back of the body to support posture, alignment, and balance. And we're pushing the back spine into itself in the back of the body to create more bone stimulation in the bones. Stronger bones, stronger muscles, and then we're stretching our body for better balance for that receptivity. So I think bridge posture is one of the most beneficial postures to do for bone health, also for healthy aging. So we're going to take the block, bring the block between. I'm deciding on whether we'll do this or not. Yeah, okay. Put the block between your legs and you're going to squeeze your block. You're going to take the blanket away from your head, lengthen the back neck, tuck the chin down towards the chest, and then walk the feet closer to your body. You're going to squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, let the low back start pressing into the floor and the top edge of the pelvis is into the floor. Let's bend your elbows for those of you that are newer to the practice. For those of you with a stronger practice, the arms could be straight. You're going to squeeze your tushy, squeeze your block, and then start to peel your spine up. Inhale, push away from the floor, lift, 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 peel your spine away, all the way up towards the heart, maybe above the heart. Lengthen the neck, and if you need to readjust your shoulders, you can slide them towards the center of the spine. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your tushy. Squeeze the block. Lengthen your knees away from you. Push your heart up towards your nose. Deep breath here. If you can clasp, go ahead, clasp or press your arms into the ground. Make sure the backs of the vertebrae are pushing in towards each other. So a strong back bend curve in your spine here. Push your heart up towards the sky and then over towards your nose. Take one more breath. When you come down, go slow, go one spine bone at a time. Take your block out. Go ahead and grab your strap. Loop your strap if it could loop, and if it doesn't loop, then tie it. We're going to take our strap to another bridge posture with our strap this time. You'll get a little higher, so a little bit more front body stretch here, and even more compression in the spine. That first one was a little more muscular and helps to get the stabilizing aspects of the pelvis and the low back muscles. And then this is going to go more and let you have a deeper stretch and more compressive force in the spine, in the bones. So either if you have a strap that will loop, do that. Otherwise, you could tie your strap, tie it in a bow. And when you do this, your legs are only about 4 or 5 inches apart. So don't have a really wide stance here. Then put your feet down on the ground. Walk your feet closer to your body. You're on your upper thighs here with your strap. And then when you push out on the strap, you're going to posteriorly tilt your pelvis by flattening the low back into the floor, flattening the top edge of the pelvis into the floor. Arms are down alongside your body, either elbows bent if you're newer to the practice. Arms could go straight if you have a pretty strong practice, a lot of range of motion in your body. And then lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin down towards the chest. Press your outer legs into your strap. The feet are coming directly off of the knees, so don't let your feet be wider than your body. And the feet are walking closer to your body. For some of you, you could actually touch your feet because they're so close. Not all of you, and it doesn't matter if you can. Just letting you know they need to be close. All right, push out on the strap, flatten the low back, and let's begin to peel. Inhale, peel the spine away from the floor. You'll get a little higher here probably, so make sure that the weight comes to your upper back. It does not go straight down into your head and neck. You have a back bend in the upper spine. You are not like a flat back. Now, slide your shoulder blades closer towards each other. Arms are straight if you can, or clasp if you need to. Push your heart up towards your nose. Push out on your strap. Lengthen your knees away from you.
Really push the back spine bones in towards each other and push into the floor with your arms and your legs as well, your feet. Take one more breath. When you come down, you're going to come down really slow. Go really slow, one vertebra at a time. When you come towards the lower ribs, lift the heels off the floor, tilt the pelvis back so you lengthen the low back. Feel that low back stretch. Place yourself back down onto the ground. Keep the strap there. Let's draw the knees into the chest. A lot of you like that because you can get higher. And then let's go on to our tummy. Let's do our locust posture. So we're going to go on to our tummies, all the way over to our tummies. We're leaving our strap on our legs. That can be a little bit of assistance here to have the strap there. So come all the way onto your tummies and come up onto your forearms here. So coming up onto your forearms, you're going to push your feet into the floor, push your feet into the floor, push your elbows, they're underneath in the hands. And then you're going to imagine that there's a string on your low back. So bring your awareness to your low back. Imagine like a puppeteer has a string. And then bring your awareness to your low ribs and to your core. Take an inhale. As you exhale, start to lift your body away from the floor with the low back and let the core really be contracted here. Contract your core like crazy. Low ribs are pushing up towards the spine. We're doing a modification of a dolphin plank, and coming into it like this is pretty intense. Keep your head forward. No rounding of the upper spine. Push your elbows into the floor. Push your forearms into the floor. Push your hands into the floor. Push your knees into the floor and your feet into the floor strongly. So you're pushing away from the floor like crazy. And then try to draw the elbows and the knees towards each other to activate those deep core muscles. Keep your head forward. Don't round your spine. And then your tailbone at the back of your body, lengthen it away from you, back behind you, between your heels. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. That's a pretty challenging position to be in. Stretch the front belly here. So let the belly, press the belly in towards the ground and then lift the low ribs up and away. And reach the rib cage forward so you're stretching your abdominal area. Breathe down to your belly. You'll add an extra stretch down there to some of the stuff down there. Muscles. And because it's so tightly packed down there in the abdominal cavity, we actually give a little bit of squish to the organs down there. We move things around and we move lymphatic fluids around, which is good. All right, let's lengthen to come all the way down onto the ground. Take the forehead on the floor, take the body. Now, if you are new, you could keep your arms on the ground, thumbs touch the body, or if today's a day you're going a little bit more gentle, you can do that. For those of you with a stronger practice, take your hands together and try to get the shoulder blades to slide towards each other, palms close together if you can, and then push out on the strap, push the pubis bone, which is the very front part of your bottom of your torso. Push that into the floor and then inhale to rise. Come all the way up into your locust posture. If your hands are clasped, They do not rest on your body. So if you can't lift them up away from your body, bring them down alongside your body. Now be really long here from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes and lift up as high as you can, pressing the back of the vertebra into itself to strengthen the bones, strengthen the muscles that lift you up, hold you up, and support you. One more breath. And go ahead and bring yourself down. Let's take your hands, fold your hands, let the back of the head rest on the back of the hands, and wiggle your pelvis back and forth side to side. Breathe to your belly. Take one more breath. And then let's roll back onto our backs. Lots of great stabilizing work today for our joints, for our structure, for balance, for alignment. All right, let's take the blanket back behind the head. Keep the strap where it is. Where it is. We're going to do another posture here. We're going to use the strap to help us. So you have your pelvis, right? You have your pelvis and you have your rib cage. And in between those are 5 bones called your low back spine, your lumbar spine. So we're going to do a little rotation where our lower body goes to the side. We're going to try to keep our upper body where it is. So the rib cage and the heart lights are pointing straight up towards the sky. And we're going to add a twisting force to the side that we have to hold with our core muscles. So for those of you that are new, please don't go too far because back muscles are involved in this, core and back, and we don't want to aggravate anything. And if you do have low back issues, be careful. So let's take your hands down alongside your body. Let's contract the core, hugging the lumbar spine. So think about that lumbar spine. You're going to take all your muscles and you're going to hug it right now, really strongly, like a big, I want to say bear hug, but a big bear hug around your lumbar spine. And then when you start to lift your legs off the floor, push into the strap, push your sacrum into off the floor, arms are down alongside your body. So you've got the strap on the upper part of the body, so you're able to push out, and you've got your feet bent. Let's do a little bit to warm up here. So a little inhale, remember the rib cage stays on the floor. Exhale, hug your lumbar spine, push your belly to your spine. Inhale and exhale. So just explore here what's a safe range of motion for you before you come into holding. One more. Try to keep the rib cage separate of the pelvis. Okay? Now we're going to go into, let's go to the right first. So let's go over to the right. Keep your rib cage on the floor. Go as far as you can comfortably because you're holding this for 30 seconds. When you're here, if you want a little bit more, you could unbend the legs, make it a bigger lever if that's appropriate for you. Strap makes it a little bit more helpful. Push your belly button to your spine. Hug your lumbar spine like crazy. Deep breath. So some variation of bent or something similar to that. Take one more breath. And then bend the knees if they're straight. Bring yourself back to center for a second. Let everything settle. I think that's a pretty intense one, to be honest. This was one of the postures added to Dr. Fishman's second series. Lots of core strength. So I think it's a pretty intense one. Take your hands down alongside your body. Bring your legs up again. And then let's inhale into that next one. Hug your lumbar spine. Straighten if you're going to straighten. Keep your rib cage on the ground. Remember, your knees can be bent or straight. One more breath. And then go ahead, bring your knees back to your chest. Take your strap off. And draw your knees into your chest. Ooh, nice and strong bodies. Nice, strong bodies. Definitely feel the strength here. All right, let's roll onto your right side, or whatever side actually. And then you're gonna slowly push yourself up to a seated position. Bring yourself onto all fours. So we did a plank. We did a dolphin plank where we lifted ourselves away from the floor. Really deep core work. I'd like to do a regular plank now, which does a lot more upper body as well. I'll do it for a minute. So that's actually 2 in a row, which we did the bridge pose twice today. So maybe this is like a Noah's Ark kind of day. Twosies. I'll remind you when the 30-second mark is for those of you that are newer or maybe want to only do 30 seconds today. All right, let's take the feet back. Come into any variation of plank that's appropriate for your body. And you're going to push away from the floor, strongly push away from the floor. Push your feet into the floor. Push your hands into the floor and be as long as you could be from torso, the whole torso. If you want a little bit more, you could lift one leg off at a time. That's 30 seconds. For those of you that want to come down, you could come down. If you're staying up with me and you want to try something a little more crazy, you could try lifting one arm off at a time. If you want to try super crazy, and the opposite arm. And then come down. And you thought plank was just a static held position. All right, come out. Shake, shake, shake. Roll your wrists around. Let's do the wrist, since this is a nice, easy one. So you could either sit on your heels like this, or sit on flat feet if that's available to you to keep the bend in your knees. Let's do the wrist stretch, because it's really important to stretch this area, and we're talking about stretching today. So take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. When you bring them forward, bring them forward. When you bring them up, really bring them towards your ears. When you bring them back, push them back a lot so you actually feel a stretch in your upper body. And then when you push them down a lot, you also feel a stretch somewhere in your neck area. So you're not just making little circles, you're making full range of motion circles for your body right now. Forward, up, back, and down. Notice if both sides are the same. And then up and back, down, stay there. Bring your hands forward, palms face each other. Flip the thumbs down, backs of the hands are facing each other. Take the left wrist over the right and clasp. Lower the shoulders. If they became shoulder earrings and you became a person with no neck, get a neck. Slowly bring your hands down, bring them up to a place of tension. Appropriate tension, yet tension. It's a lot of strengthening here. If you'd like to move your elbows out or move your hands down, if that intensifies it, do whatever you can to put a lot of force in your wrist joint to prepare it to keep it mobile and lots of range of motion so that when you need it, it's there. Take one more breath. And then you're going to slowly unwind your wrist. Let's do the other. So the backs of the hands are facing each other. One hand over. Let's lower the shoulders. Slowly bring the hands down, up, and around to a place of tension, whatever that is for you. The more you bring your hands forward, the more you lower them, and the more you spread them, you'll feel tension in your wrists.
And then breathe. One more breath. And then bring your hands through. Shake your hands, let your head go side to side. Think about the ear reaching straight up. Ear up, ear up. Let that be what's happening. So we're going to come to a standing position. If you want to go a little slow, and if you've done a lot already, you want to come forward and come up like this, you could bring yourself all the way up like that. Flow, still some more challenging aspects of the practice. Now we're going to bend at the hip joint, practicing safe bending at the hip joint. Flip the toes under and you bend at your hips. See, my hips are bending a lot, the knees are bent here, my back is flat, my head is forward. So if you come into down dog, you want it to be that the bend is in your hip joint. Press one heel towards the ground at a time. Feel that stretch in the back of the calves. Walk your hands forward a little bit, spread your fingers, pressing your fingers into the floor as well. Head is forward, you're not looking down and you're not letting the weight of your head fall. If you're going to come into this, be in it nice and strong. Push both feet into the floor, feel that strong calf stretch, and then inhale to come forward. Exhale, push your belly up, bend your hips, not your spine. Inhale forward. Exhale, bend your hips, not your spine. Inhale forward. Last one. Head is forward, you're bending at your hips. Now bend your knees. Look forward, walk your hands back. Keep your spine from bending. So bend your knees deeper, bend your hips deeper. And maybe this is not for you because you have a limited range of motion in those joints for now. Take your hands on your thighs. Your head is forward. It's as if you could put a tray on your back because it's nice and flat. And then you're going to push yourself to come to a standing position. Slowly. So let's use gravity to stretch our legs. Take your props off to the side. And when you do this, you're bending at your hips, you're bending at your knees, you're keeping your head up. You're not using your spine to do that. And get a chair. For those of you that need a chair, get a chair. And then actually, a block maybe for some of you. So for those of you that have a nice range of motion in your body. And I'm going to do it all the way back by the wall because I have a wall back here because I want to show you with a wall. So I'm going to do this next part of the practice. Well, we'll do, yeah. I'm going to do this near a wall because I can get deeper. When you take away the challenge of the balance aspect of the standing postures, you could actually go deeper in the stretch and even in the muscular part. So I'm going to use the wall that's behind me here for this today. We're going to come into a triangle posture. So a chair for those of you that need a chair, and it's really a matter of what you have in terms of flexibility in your body that determines how far down you should go. When we do this triangle posture, we want our spine to stay nice and straight. And we want the bend to be really deep in that hip joint when we go down. So let's take our hands here. This is where the hips are. This is where I like your bend to be. Let your body go back and forth, side to side. The feet are really wide, and that's another aspect. We are doing yoga for osteoporosis, where we are actually trying to create a lot of different angles of force in the body, more than anything else we would do. This wider stance is not comfortable for a lot of people. So to have a wall behind you, you will likely go into that wider stance, or you can, and feel a little bit more secure about it. So take the foot of the direction you're going in, pick up the toes, move the toes away from you, and then you move the heel away from you. So keep your legs straight here. Grab the floor with your feet. Be very active on the pinky toe edge of your feet. So push the pinky toe edges into the floor. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. Push your feet into the floor and inhale to let the arms rise. And then reaching away from you, bending at the hip joint. So your spine is long, you're bending at the hip joint to come lower. You'll feel a stretch coming in the back thighs. And then bring yourself
so that you're up against the wall, right? So your arm will touch the wall if you're near a wall. And maybe this is where you stay. So spine is long. If you could go join a little bit more, you could come down on the floor onto a block. Not for everybody. And it doesn't matter. Not one is better than the other. It's just that if you have the ability to bend a little deeper and you have flexibility in your hamstring area, then it'll be better for you to go deeper. You'll get more out of the posture. If you can reach your arm up and over, reach your arm up and over. And then deep breaths here. Pinky toe into the floor. Feel that beautiful stretch. And smile. Take one more breath. And then you're going to keep your legs straight to bring yourself back up. So since we're here, let's go into a twisted triangle. And we're going to do a twist where we're actually going to twist away from the wall. So I'm going to teach it with the wall. Now with twisted triangle, it's the front leg that you twist over when you're doing a twisted triangle. That triangle position we just did, we opened up in our triangle. Now we're going to twist over the front leg. So having a chair there may be what you do, or you may be able to come down onto the block. So with this, you're going to bring the leg forward that's not near the wall. And the leg that's near the wall is going to go back. The toes are pointing forward, feet apart here. You could bring your arm onto the wall. So I'm teaching it near the wall, right? So you can bring your arm onto the wall, reach your arm up, up, up. When you get to this linear position, you bend the hips, not the spine, pushing your feet into the floor, bringing yourself forward. For some, maybe being in the back of the chair is good for you. You rotate your body over. Or maybe you could come down onto the chair, or maybe you could come down onto the block, depending on where you are. What is your range of motion in your muscles? Push your feet into the floor, a nice long spine, and then rotate open. And smile. Grab the floor with your feet. Now to get out of this, you could bend that front leg. Take the tension out and then bring yourself all the way up. Go slow. Let's switch sides. So a lot of tissues are being stretched here, using our body weight to do that. I'm going to move a little farther away from my chair on this side, because I know that I'm going to come down onto my block. And when I practice this, I don't always use a chair. I just want to have that here for those of you that need it to see what the options are. So we're going to come into your other side for your triangle. Move your pelvis back and forth, side to side, so that you get that message to the hips. Hey, you're going to need to bend for me. Legs are wide. Take the front foot, point the front foot underneath the chair, and the back heel moves away from you. And then active feet, especially pinky toe edges, straight legs, long torso, shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. And then inhale to lift your arms, bending at that front hip joint, and then bringing yourself into whatever is appropriate for you, back of chair, chair, or block. Push your feet into the floor, especially pinky toes. Your feet are not just hanging out, they're very active, holding on, pushing away. And then it's at the hip joint that you're bending, nice long torso. If you'd like to bring your arm up and over, stretch, stretch, stretch your body.
Wherever your arm position is, wherever you need it to be, take one more breath. And then keep your legs straight with a long spine as you bring yourself all the way up. And then slowly bring yourself out. Bring yourself out. We'll go to the twisted triangle posture. Wall, if you'd like. This is one of the most challenging postures in the practice. And there is a balance aspect to this. So if you're near a wall, it's a little safe. So you're going to bring your front foot forward and your back foot about 2.5 feet. And both toes are pointing forward. So you're not out at an angle like this. Your toes are pointing forward. Then you're going to, I like to start with the hands on the waist to keep my posture in alignment and my upper body nice. Take your arm on the wall. Reach up, up, up. When you come forward, you're going to be bending at the hip joint, keeping your legs nice and straight. Maybe this is where you come. And if you're going towards the front edge, because you're going to start to rotate, or front edge of the chair, or all the way down to the block. Long spine here. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Grab the floor with your feet. Feel the stretch wherever you feel the stretch. Lots of different places. The calf, the leg area, the low back. Nice long spine. Chest is rotating. Take one more breath. And then to come out, you're going to bend that front knee. Keep your head up. Bring yourself all the way out. And then we'll standing posture. We'll do a nice balance posture here. So to do the tree posture, you may need a chair or you may want to use the wall. You're going to have your toes pointing forward. Feet are pretty close together here. Let's begin with the hands on the waist and then lengthen spine. Choose your weakest side if you know that you have one. Or choose any side. Push your body weight over to the side, come onto the opposite toes. Take the knee out to the side. Bring the foot on between the ankle and the lower knee. Then push away from the floor. Make sure you're not dumping in that waist. You're lifting. And then the arms can come alongside the body or up. The gaze is straight ahead, maybe a little elevated. Grab the floor with your foot. Nice, strong, daily dose of vitamin T, tree posture, for balance, for strength, for flexibility of balance and strength. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself center and then out. Bring your awareness to your other side. Hands on your waist, push your body weight over, come onto the opposite tippy toe, knee to the side, foot is up in between the knee and the ankle, arms are wherever you'd like them to be. And then hold on tight with those toes. Push away from the floor, feel that strength and length. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. So we'll come down onto the ground now for our last posture of the day. So get yourself prepared. The last posture is the Shavasana posture. So get whatever you need. Get what makes you comfortable.
And bring yourself into your last posture. If you'd like to bring your knees into the chest one last time, or let your legs go up in the air and let everything settle. And then settle yourself into your Shavasana. Bring your awareness to your breath. And bring this to your body. Notice what you notice. Awareness to your fingers, to your toes. Bring the knees into a bent position and then all the way in. I want you to notice your mind, the brain. And today's practice had a lot of strengthening and challenging aspects. And notice how that was for you. Notice if you are able to do all of it, or if you need to make modifications, and be okay with whatever it is you're doing, knowing that today is today, tomorrow will be a different day. Let's roll on to your side. Pushing yourself up safely, using the muscles in your arms and upper body into a seated position, either on your tushy or on your shins, if your knees will let you. Let's close our practice with sound. We're going to use the sound Om, blending the Ah, the O, and the sound. This is your sound as a human being, right? We don't want to be human doings right now. This is human being time. You as a human being, if you exhale with your mouth open to close, through the vowel sounds of ah, o, or you, and then at the end when your mouth is closed, it makes a sound. So the sound om is your human sound. Let's take an exhale to prepare. Take a deep breath all to your tailbone. Bowing in gratitude and an awareness of what's in me is in you, and what's in me is in every other human being on this planet. Namaste. Thank you. So I would say that my body definitely feels shaky. So my muscles, I don't want to say pushed. I used a lot of muscles today. So I went into probably areas that maybe I'm not always using. And we did use some props today that helped us go into places. We practiced 12 postures today. We did bridge twice, plank twice, and lots of strengthening today. So pay attention to that. Drink some water, eat some protein and minerals so your bones can lay down all that tissue that you just demanded from your body. All right, I'd love to hear from some of you. Have I shared with you guys my beautiful dahlia? I'm a dahlia fanatic. Shannon's here, right? This is a dinner plate one, a purple one. I've had this one. This is one I've had for years. I don't always take them out of my garden, but this one had fallen over. And isn't it so pretty? Oh my gosh, makes me so happy to look at that every day. Okay, so let me see what's going on with you all. All right. Yes, and I know you could do it, Donna. I know you could do that strong class. I know some of you that are here, your capabilities, and I know you'd be right there with me doing all of that. Shannon, great, good. Yeah, isn't that cute? So, yeah, that's what I did. I planted 120 whatever this year. And so I don't know how many bulbs I have, but I have a lot, and I have them all over anywhere I could find a place. And not all of them survived. So, yes, Susan. The bridge, Susan, with the strap, you could get higher, and people love that. Definitely more stretch and more compressive force of the vertebra. So it's good for that. Maybe a little less of the muscular action when we have to push up. So still a lot of muscles though. So it's not that it's not good. We love that. Hi, Kathy. Great, Kathy. And I still remember your comment to me that you feel so strong that your legs feel as strong as they did when you were 20. And I think I've told you this, but you're on my website. That's on my website because I think it's a really powerful statement that you said. And that's how we stay happy and healthy. All right, Kathy. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Yes. Yeah, Kathy, I had to get really intimate with my own body when I had my hip injury and my hip surgeries.
I had to get so intimate because I lost so much. And as I gained everything back, I was so aware of all of those things. Even before my injury, I used to go to my yoga classes, like it's almost like 20 years ago now, which is so bizarre because I was in my mid-30s. And we would do the side to side. I would close my eyes and feel my body weight go from one buttock to my sacrum to the other buttock. Like I'd feel this line of weight distribution in my body. I just did. So I think I was supposed to be doing what I'm doing. Carolyn, great. Yes. So everybody have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you whenever I see you. All right. Bye.